Hey there, Roothaven Grounds family. If you've been following along with me, you know I'm always on the hunt for growing methods that deliver incredible results without unnecessary complexity. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on my absolute favorite way to grow lettuce. The hydroponic tub method. This system has completely transformed how I approach salad greens, and I'm betting it's going to do the same for you. I stumbled onto this method after years of wrestling with soil-grown lettuce that bolted too quickly, battled pests, and frankly, never quite achieved that restaurant-quality crunch I was after. The hydroponic tub approach changed everything. We're talking crisp, vibrant lettuce that grows faster, tastes better, and requires less daily fussing than traditional methods. Whether you're a hydroponic newbie or you've been growing for years, this setup is going to make your lettuce game stronger than ever. Let me start by explaining why this particular approach has become my go-to system. Unlike complicated hydroponic setups with pumps, timers, and endless tubes, the tub method embraces beautiful simplicity. You're creating a self-contained ecosystem where lettuce roots have constant access to nutrient-rich water, while the plants themselves stay perfectly positioned above the waterline. The magic happens because lettuce is what we call a light feeder. These greens don't demand the intensive nutrient delivery that tomatoes or peppers need, which means a passive system works phenomenally well. The roots dangle into the nutrient solution, drinking what they need, while air spaces in your growing medium ensure they're getting plenty of oxygen. It's the perfect balance, and nature does most of the heavy lifting for you. I've grown lettuce in raised beds, containers, and even traditional deep water culture systems, but nothing compares to the consistent results I get from these tubs. The temperature stays more stable than smaller containers, the water volume means less frequent top-offs, and the maintenance is honestly minimal. Plus, when you lift a tub of mature lettuce and see those beautiful white roots cascading through the water, it's genuinely satisfying. Let's talk about the actual setup, because this is where you'll see how accessible this method really is. I use opaque storage tubs, typically in the 10 to 18 gallon range. The opacity is crucial because you want to block light from reaching your nutrient solution. Algae loves light and nutrients, and if you give it both, it'll take over faster than you can say green water. Dark-colored tubs keep everything clean and clear. For the lid, I grab inexpensive foam board insulation from the hardware store. This stuff is perfect because it's rigid enough to support your plants, it's waterproof, and you can cut it with a basic utility knife. I trace my tub's opening, cut the foam to fit snugly, and then mark out spots for my net cups. Depending on the lettuce variety, I space these holes about 4 to 6 inches apart. Butterhead varieties can sit a bit closer, while larger romaine types appreciate the extra elbow room. The net cups themselves are simple 2-inch or 3-inch mesh pots. I fill these with expanded clay pebbles, also called hydroton. These little clay balls are my growing medium of choice because they're reusable, pH neutral, and they provide excellent support and aeration. Some growers prefer rockwool cubes or even just perlite, and those work fine too, but I keep coming back to hydroton for its reliability and the fact that I can sterilize and reuse it season after season. Here's where a lot of beginners get intimidated, but I promise you, this is simpler than it seems. Your nutrient solution is the lifeblood of this system, and getting it dialed in makes all the difference between okay lettuce and absolutely stellar greens. I use a quality hydroponic nutrient formula designed for leafy greens. These are typically higher in nitrogen than fruiting plant formulas, which is exactly what lettuce wants for developing those lush leaves. Follow the mixing instructions on your nutrient bottle, but here's my insider tip. Start at about 75% of the recommended strength, especially if you're new to this. You can always add more nutrients, but you can't take them back out without doing a complete water change. The pH sweet spot for lettuce sits between 5.5 and 6.5, with 6.0 being absolutely ideal in my experience. I check pH every few days with a simple digital meter. When it drifts too high, I add a bit of pH down solution. Too low and pH up brings it back into range. This might sound fussy, but once you've done it a few times, it becomes second nature and takes maybe 2 minutes. Water temperature matters more than most people realize. Lettuce thrives when your solution stays between 65 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Warmer water holds less dissolved oxygen, and lettuce roots really need that oxygen to perform their best. If you're growing in a warm climate like I am during summer, positioning your tubs in a shaded area, or even adding frozen water bottles to the reservoir on hot days can work wonders. So, I've experimented with both seeds and transplants, and honestly, both approaches work beautifully. If you're going the seed route, I start mine in small starter plugs or rock wool cubes outside the main tub. Once the seedlings develop their first true leaves and roots start poking through the bottom of the plug, they're ready to transfer into the net cups in your tub. For faster results, buying young lettuce transplants from a nursery is perfectly fine. Just gently wash away as much soil as possible from the roots, being careful not to damage them. Then, nestle the plant into your net cup surrounded by Hydroton, making sure the crown of the plant sits just above the water level while the roots can reach down into the solution. The first week after transplanting is when I pay closest attention. You want to see those plants perk up and start putting on new growth within a few days. If they look droopy beyond the initial transplant shock, check your nutrient strength and pH. 9 times out of 10, a struggling plant is telling you something about your water chemistry. One of the biggest selling points of this method is how little daily attention it requires once you've got everything established. I do a quick visual check each morning, looking for any signs of stress, discoloration, or pest issues. Lettuce is pretty good at telling you when something's off. Yellowing leaves often mean nitrogen deficiency, while brown leaf edges can indicate salt buildup or pH problems. Every 3 to 5 days, I top off the water level and adjust nutrients as needed. As your plants grow, they'll drink more water, and you'll see the level drop in the tub. I prefer to top off with fresh water first, then check my nutrient concentration with a TDS meter and add nutrients if needed. This prevents the solution from becoming too concentrated as water evaporates. Every 2 to 3 weeks, I do a complete reservoir change. I know some growers push this longer, but fresh nutrients and a clean start keep my plants looking their absolute best. It's also a great opportunity to inspect the roots, clean any algae from the tub walls, and basically reset everything for optimal growth. Here's where the real payoff comes in. Depending on the variety and conditions, you're looking at harvest-ready lettuce in about 4 to 6 weeks from transplant. The beauty of this system is you can harvest using the cut-and-come-again method, taking outer leaves and letting the center continue producing, or you can harvest the entire head when it reaches full size. I always have multiple tubs going at different stages. When one tub is a week from harvest, I'm starting new plants for the next tub. This succession planting approach means we have fresh, crisp lettuce available pretty much year-round, which has completely eliminated store-bought salad greens from our shopping list. The taste difference is something you really have to experience to believe. Hydroponic lettuce grown with proper nutrients and harvested at peak freshness has this incredible crisp texture and concentrated flavor that makes supermarket lettuce taste like watery cardboard in comparison. I hope this breakdown shows you just how achievable and rewarding the hydroponic tub method can be. This system has brought so much abundance and joy to my growing journey, and I truly believe it can do the same for you. If you found this helpful, do me a favor and subscribe to Roothaven Grounds for more practical growing wisdom. Share this with your fellow gardeners who are ready to level up their lettuce game. Let's grow together.